Hi friends, it's Liz here. Thank you for joining me today. I have my design project for Clique Kits to show you, and we are going to be using the lovely kit by Paige Evans, which is called Blooming Wild. I have a fun project. It's a one-page wonder project to make with you today. So I'll show you what I've made, and then at the end of the video I'm going to show you what we have actually, how to make the base of it. Okay, so what we will be doing is making this cute little, I guess it's like a little folio. I do have a video of a similar one that I made about 2-3 years ago. I will link that video below because it's a smaller size than this one, just slightly. I did remake this one with different measurements to use the full 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And so I think I just like how that came out. So I'm going to be using, as I mentioned, the Paige Evans collection. I'm also going to be showing you as I flip through it, the other pieces that I've used to make it. So the first thing I did is I used the florals from the collection here, the 50 embellishments, and it's all these lovely flowers, and I think these are the ones here. So I used some of those. On the cover, I used one of the big ones. And then the little puffy hearts came from the thicker set, and I just took the little hearts out of some of the pieces there. I'm just seeing if I'm still in frame. Okay, so I did tie it with a little bit of this green gingham ribbon. And to get in here, so that's what we see, the first little pocket here. So I used some of the cut aparts from the collection, and then I also used the other papers from the collection that I already had in my stash, because I do have the papers for the Blooming Wild collection as well. So here what I did is I added one of the little flowers. This is one of the little embellishments, and I'm sticking it in there. Somehow there we go. And I like that these ones have like a little bit of that silver foiling on them. And of course, so does the little tag. And here, I left this open. So if it depends how this is being used. If it's going to be like a little mini album, maybe like a Mother's Day album, then you can write a little note here and then add some photos, etc. So that was sort of the idea behind it, maybe making a little Mother's Day folio or like mini album. So here, as I showed you, there's a little tuck spot. You could add maybe another belly band if you wanted here, or maybe another pocket. So then we open it up, and on this side we have a little tuck spot, and this is one of the cut apart journaling cards, and this is another tag from the collection. So of course you can add as much as you want there. Here I added one of the embellishments, which is a little butterfly, and then these are also some of the embellishments that came in this pack, which is 40 embellishments. So that's one of the ones that came in there, I think. Yeah, those are there. And then here, I thought it was so cute. I used that Tim Holtz little file folder, and just showing you what it is. It's the specimen collection. I do have a link in the description box below if you wanted to check out the little file folder. In a previous video, I mentioned that it was always in the Amazon shop. I just hadn't seen exactly where the listing was properly. Anyways, so I thought that was really cute because here I can add more photos, or I can add maybe more embellishments. This is another card apart from the collection. And then here we have this nice lovely tuck spot, and I've got a nice large journaling card here. And then I have another one right here. So everything I've used is from the Paige Evans collection, and I thought it'd be so cute to make, like I said, a larger version than the one I shared before. I'm going to show you the base of how to put this together. I'm trying to keep my videos under like 20 minutes. I will come back if you want to see how I decorate it and how I, put everything together. Then I can make a separate video. But as I said, it's just whatever you want to add to the little flip outs. You can make as many as you want, and I think it comes out super cute. So Anyways, thank you for joining me. I will link everything I mentioned in the description box below. The kit I used came from Clique Kits. And anything else that I remember, I will link it in the description box. I wanted to mention that I have changed the original design. This is now using a full 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and I did make like gussets so that you could have a little more room when you flip the pages down to add maybe larger embellishments or like thicker embellishments in between. The original design was by Pink Strawberries, I believe, a long time ago, maybe 3 years ago, that I made the smaller version, and it did not have the gussets and it was just flat. So I just found this a little bit easier to work with to just add more to it. All right, so let's get started building the base. Okay, so we start with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I'm using single-sided here so that you can actually see where the score lines are. So, and I'm using non-directional paper as well to make it easier to show you. So one side I scored at 6 inches, and then you turn it over and your first score is at 2 3/4 and then at 3. And then your next one is 7 1/4 inches and then 7 1/2. And then the last score is going to be at 11 1/2. And then I'm just going to show you how we fold everything and put everything together. So the first score was 2 3/4, then at 3, then 7 1/4, then 7 1/2, and then 11 1/2. I did have another score line on this paper from beforehand, so ignore that. That's why I'm not mentioning that, because that doesn't matter. And this was the paper that I ended up using to make the base for my little folio, simply because I didn't want to use a 12 by 12 double-sided paper, because most of it gets covered up with making the pockets. But if you wanted to use, of course, a double-sided 12 by 12, that would also work. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm making sure that all my score lines are, folded where they need to be. And this is basically the orientation that I'm going to need my paper. So I want the pink part of the paper to be facing me. So we go to fold everything, make sure it's all nice and folded. So that bottom little 1/4 inch at the bottom there, we're just going to cut that off, because this is going to be what helps us fold our little pocket over. And that little hinge that is left at the top is what we're going to be gluing the bottom paper to. Then we turn it over and we're cutting at that center line to that second score line that we had made. And then you can just see what it looks like there. So that is now the bottom little fold, and we've left that sort of hinged up there. So this is the part where we're deciding if you're going to be adding that little notch to your pockets, just to show that it's little pockets. And I'm just, putting this on the paper. I'm not even measuring. I'm just eyeballing the whole thing right now. So the next step would be to start gluing. Now, don't do what I'm about to do. And that's the reason I left it, so that when we're not thinking, we all make little boo-boos. So the one thing you will need to do is add glue to the hinge. But instead of folding it and gluing it like I'm going to, you'll be adding glue to the next score line. And I'm going to show you that in a moment, because I end up, tearing it apart and starting again. So you will be needing to add glue to that hinge, but don't do it yet, because again, like I said, I know I'm having to come back and tear this open and then do it again. Now this flap, you will be folding it over all the way to that score line that you did. So it lays flat basically on your next piece there. And again, I'm eyeballing, but you could certainly measure if you wanted to. And I'm just cutting off a little kind of triangle at the top, because I just want the pocket to sort of be seen in the back as well. And then you'll just see what I'm doing here. All right, so that will be a little tuck spot. So this is the part that I mentioned when we start looking at where we're gluing things. We want this to be a little sort of slide pocket, not a full pocket. So I'm just adding glue to the bottom. And then this becomes a little tuck spot and not like a full pocket, right? The next thing is adding glue, where I mentioned we had initially I had missed to do it. So basically what we need to do is to add glue in that section. Okay, so we were supposed to add glue to this center fold, and that's what I had forgotten. So I'm just going to tear that open and then just re-glue it again. And like I said, I left it because I wanted you to see that if you do happen to make a boo-boo, you can always fix it. I could have started over with a brand new piece of paper, but I thought I would just show you that, you know, you can fix it. I wonder if you hear the rain. It is pouring right now. The lighting's a little off, so I've had to add a few more lights, so hopefully you can see this clearly. And I hope that you like the sound of rain if you can hear it. So here we are. So we've added glue now to that hinge, and then that center fold again, as I mentioned, and now our pockets are set and ready to go. Now what I ended up doing is decorating the white part of the cardstock so that you wouldn't see white on it, and that really was just 2 little pieces of paper to cover it up. And as I showed you, I ended up covering the rest of it with the collection, the paper collection, the one that I already had, and then I just added the embellishments with what came in the kit. So that's it, my friends. I hope you've enjoyed this quick tutorial. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I will have links to everything I mentioned in the description box below. I also have a playlist for Clique Kits if you want to see more of the projects that I have made for them and the unboxings that I have shared. Thanks so much for stopping by.